Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dog Classroom podcast. I've got all the dog in my brain. I'm Anne Marie, and
I'm Kelsey.
Kelsey's going to be my co-host again today. Amelia's good, no problems there. I think we're a little bit behind on them, so we'll definitely get Amelia back in here and work on some topics. Just again, we're always looking for topics, right? So we try to produce ones that we think you guys need the information on, but if you find that we don't have one out there that you want information, don't hesitate to
make some suggestions.
Yeah, give us, you can email, we're on, this is where Amelia does this, right? Facebook, Instagram, and then she likes to say where all the podcasts are. Did she grill you on that one?
Google Play, Apple Music, Spotify. Don't know any of the other places.
YouTube,
yeah,
I think.
YouTube's a big one.
Usually I only say Spotify, so you took mine. What I actually want us to talk about today, and I brought this subject up a little bit, is I'm calling it separation issues.
Right.
So I'm not calling it necessarily separation anxiety.
Right.
Okay. Because everybody thinks that if their dog, if they come home and the dog has defecated or peed or chewed things up, exactly, that the dog has separation anxiety. But they don't realize there's sort of another little list of different separation
you could call it
issues.
Things that happen when you're not there.
Right. Separation issues that could be going on because through my time with it, and we're going to talk about these, I got my list going here to make sure that we're sort of on that. So we have done other podcasts on separation anxiety. We definitely did one after COVID because the tricky thing is everybody was home and then everybody was gone. So that's why I wanted to do this one more around the group and not just focus on separation anxiety. So just to be clear, let's just get the separation anxiety term out of there because then I want to talk about the other ones, is what true separation anxiety is when it's a certain person.
Yes. And I don't want to say it's rare, right? But I find we see more of the other issues than the true separation anxiety.
Absolutely. So people don't quite understand, people think the dog has separation anxiety when everybody's out of the house. But true separation anxiety is when a certain person, like one person that they're attached to, leaves, right? And even though there's other people home, they're still showing signs of anxiety.
Yes.
Right. The main signs that we look for with separation anxiety is anorexia, I would say, because that's the first thing I ask people. If you leave the house and you leave a food toy or something, is it actually finished?
Yeah.
Because if it is, then again, I'm sort of okay, they don't have separation anxiety because if they're actually ingesting the food. So I want to say true separation anxiety, the dog won't go near the food.
And I want to say they don't eat it, but they'll eat it when you're home.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of people are I leave a Kong. I have it stuffed.
I find some dogs just don't like Kongs.
Right. Yeah. But then the dog won't touch it. As soon as they come home, the specific person comes home,
then it's okay to touch. Yeah.
Yeah. Then they'll eat it.
Yeah.
So that's basically what we're going to say for that. And now we're going to shift over and work on the other one. The main one, I would say, that we experience more often is the isolation distress.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. So, or isolation issues. So are we saying that's not separation anxiety? We're saying it's isolation anxiety.
Yes.
Let's say that.
Yeah.
So basically what it is, where it's the dog doesn't have access to humans or allowed to be social with them.
Right.
Right? So the idea is, I would say more dogs suffer from that. It's when everybody goes to work.
Yes.
So everybody is leaving the house.
Yes.
Right?
And there's nobody around.
So that's more isolation, right? So they're left on their own, whether they're put in the crate, or sometimes, people might put them in the crate if they have company or something. That again.
Or even behind a gate.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, where they might get frustrated unless we trained it.
Yes, exactly.
Right? So I want you to throw out some ideas. I have some ideas of my own, but what can we sort of do to lessen that isolation anxiety?
So for me, it starts when they're puppies.
Right.
Working on creating separation with the puppy in positive ways. Right. I'm not just going to throw a puppy in a crate and go upstairs for an hour or leave for an hour.
Yeah.
I might train the crate first, get them comfortable in it with me around. And then say, okay, I'm going to cook dinner. You can watch me from your crate while I cook dinner.
Right. So what Kelsey was actually saying is, and I was going to bring up go to mat.
Yes.
Too, is I think I'm just going to go on a tangent here for a second. We'll go back because I think it's the right time to do it though. Is, we go to work all day. Mm-hmm. Then when we come home and we actually encourage the dog to be with us like all the time because we feel guilty.
They follow you to the bathroom.
Yeah.
They follow you,
and we let
dinner.
them in.
Yes.
And we let them in. Yeah. Follow us to the laundry room, blah, 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 right? Because we feel guilty that we haven't seen them all day and they've been alone all day. So we actually encourage them to be with us. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden when we're not there, they're like, what do I do?
Yeah, they don't know how to be alone.
Right.
Yeah.
So and again, we're not sitting here saying, we want you to lock your dog up for 1 or 2 hours while you're at home in the evening, because of course you want to enjoy your dog, you want to be social, but there's different ways, and Kelsey was already starting, and I'm going to let her jump back over there, to reward distance.
Yes. Yeah. And while I do that, I do give the dog treats.
So you were on crate with puppy.
I was, yes. Crate with puppy.
In the kitchen.
Yeah. Or X-Pen, or just creating that little bit of separation.
Right.
And being intentional about it. Right? So like you said, we're not leaving them there for 5 hours after we go to work.
Right.
It's maybe while I'm cooking dinner, you don't get access to me all the time.
Okay.
Right? And then I might say, okay, you're going to be in the crate. I'm just going to walk out the door and I'm going to come back. And I'm just going to show you that I come back when I leave. It's not a big deal. I'm going to reward, all that sort of stuff.
Right. And another thing is, you can go up and put those cookies through the kennel door. Yeah. Sometimes if we're good enough, we can toss if we can hit through that kennel door.
You're going to be really good.
Yeah. Sometimes they come flying back at you. But this is where I know Kelsey had mentioned sort of the puppy part. And because I even ask clients, has the breeder started like separating the puppies? Because you can only imagine, say there's a litter of 10 and mom, and then we take one puppy out and they're like, well, where did everybody else go?
Exactly.
Right?
It's jarring to their little systems, and they're still little, so we're doing obviously age appropriate. I think it's important too to recognize it doesn't only have to be puppies. It's just easier to start this when your dog is a puppy. So you could do this with an adult dog. Yeah. However, you're fighting whatever else they've had experience with in their life. Yeah. So you're dealing with a little baggage down here, but I got her at 8 months without being crate trained and so forth. So, there are different things we're going to use, and we're going to sort of pop that in there a little bit as well. But the reason, like Kelsey's, talking about crate training, so she's saying how to train the puppy to just be away from you by using the crate. Yeah. The other thing, we'll sometimes use more, and I don't want to say just with adult dogs, we don't do it with puppy. I love introducing go to mat with puppies like right away, because then for some of us that have maybe bigger dogs, we're not hauling that kennel around, right? But the whole idea of it, and I hope people understand, and I really try to get through in classes, is that if they're laying over there and I'm tossing, they're being rewarded for not being... Yeah, for being further away from you.
Yeah.
And spending that time away from you.
Yeah, and being comfortable. Yeah. Right? So if I get up and move to the other room, they can still lay there and chew their toy.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's sort of what we're encouraging. Encourage the dog, to still be in the room, but be doing something else. Yeah. Like instead of watching a movie and always be constantly patting, my uncle used to do this, and I found it rather interesting. He literally patted this dog for like an hour straight, and I was like, wow, okay. But instead of like patting, have a little snuggle, do a little thing, and then say go to mat, and then sit there.
So you're meeting the need, but also working on what you need.
Yeah, work at tossing a little bit, because if we can work some of that stuff when we're home, it's not going to be so dramatic
when you leave.
When we leave.
Because they've learned how to be by themselves. There you go. Be alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So remember, we're talking about isolation,
Yes.
distress, not necessarily the separation anxiety. Now what I want to go to is I remember the first time I saw this video, I think the carpet's bugging her little eyes there. They showed it at a conference, and the people had been videoing their dogs. And what had happened is one dog opened the cupboard and the other dog pulled everything out.
Yeah.
And they ate it. And this kitchen was like covered in flour and sugar and everything. And then, you know, the owners thought in a way that it was anxiety or stress.
Yeah.
But it can also be destruction, where some dogs left alone destroy things.
Because they're bored. If you were alone for 8 hours with not much else to do, I'd probably destroy things too.
Yeah.
Right? Boredom.
Yeah. There. Well, now she wants that. Yeah. Even though there's nothing in it. But like, you have to watch, again, all these sort of different of levels. So that's why, you know, if someone said to me, if we watch the video and we're not seeing any stress sign, like the major stress signs we're probably going to see is maybe vocalization.
Yeah. Panting. I've had people say they come back and their jog is just covered in drool.
Drool, yeah. Panting, drool. She's having fun with that. The other thing is sometimes they will pee poo.
Yeah. Chewing, I find, can go both ways. If they're chewing and doing damage to themselves, like real damage,
right,
we're probably looking at more of an anxiety piece versus destruction.
Yeah.
Versus you come home and part of your couch is just a little bit eaten.
Yeah. Right away when things are destroyed, people think about it as separation anxiety.
Yeah.
I really think they have to keep the component as, and they're like, well, the dog never does it when I'm at home, but
they're stimulated.
Right, or they've been disciplined for doing it while they're home.
That's also an option.
And the thing, what I say is you can't train the dog when you're not home.
Yeah.
So even though you're watching them through the camera, right, you can't be, well, except for you and Amelia yelling
I do talk to my camera sometimes, and they do listen,
we
to
won't,
be fair.
We won't talk about them and talking through their camera. Anyway, long story. But the idea is it's really a little bit tricky, and that's why I think a lot more people are using video, because we can get so much information because we can read body language.
I love when people come in for consults for this and they have cameras, because then you can see exactly what's going on with the dog.
Yeah.
And you can make a better observation or analysis of the situation.
Right. Yeah. I don't think people believe as much that they are being destructive. They still believe there's an anxiety component. Okay. But like Kelsey was saying before, I agree. I think it's a boredom component. Like, I had the same issue with Zeta. We tried the kennel and she totally wigged out in the kennel, and then we left her out and I lost 3 remote controls. And I'm pretty sure that was boredom. I really don't think it was anxiety, because she was left with another dog. And
she had access to stuff.
She had access to stuff, you know, even though you house or puppy proof.
Yeah.
And then I ended up, funny thing is, again, getting this huge pen for her.
No, would you say age plays a role in that?
Age plays a role in it. I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I would say, but I would also say upbringing.
Yeah.
Maybe wise, because, you know, we get a lot of rescue dogs who spend a lot of time outside.
Yes. Or personality, I guess, too.
Right?
Yeah.
So then they don't know what to do inside.
Yeah.
Right? Or, you know, like, then the thing is, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm supposed to crate train my dog, and boom, they're in there with the door closed, and the dog's sitting there going, I've never been in this metal box in my life.
Of course you got anxiety.
Yeah, of course you got anxiety. So the thing is trying to identify it.
Yes.
So that's where we're sort of with it there.
Because it does kind of change a little bit of what we do with the dogs.
Yeah. I think overall, let's talk about some of the overall things we do, which I think either way would be the same. So whether we're talking about separation anxiety, the one person, whether we're talking about separation issues, or whether we're talking about destructiveness, what are some of the things that you would say that would be roughly the same that we can do to sort of help the dog succeed when we're not there?
I would say meeting needs before you go somewhere. So making sure they've had exercise and mental stimulation.
Right.
Both.
Yeah.
Especially the mental stimulation piece, because the exercise is great, but the mental stimulation is their chewing of things when you're gone, if it's just destructive part.
Right.
Right. And then it'll help the dog relax a a little bit more.
So explain, because I even said to some clients again before, you know, because you say to them, okay, can you get the dog out before work? And some people are getting up at like 6:30 in the morning and they're looking at you like, seriously. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so can you take a treat or a ball and throw it up and down the stairs for 5 minutes? Yeah. And they're like, yeah, I can do that.
While you're getting ready.
Or can they throw it up and down, you know, the hallway is another option. We just finished a podcast on scent work.
It's a great way to tire them up.
I'll have 2 handfuls of kibble.
Yep.
Toss them out in the snow.
Go do something and come back and do it again.
Yeah. So I think, and what I said to this client the other day, I'm like, you just need a plan.
Yes.
You need a plan for the next day and not leaving it till you're rushing around the house.
Your schedule.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I understand too, like that she had kids. So not only is she trying to get herself ready, she's trying to get the kids ready, the lunch packed ready. The dog is all in amongst this. Yeah. You know, so if you have a plan where I just gave, it's out of screen now, and unfortunately I can't get up and move it, but and then, you can give that as well. So Kelsey had just given Zeta, there's a Kong, there's a Topple. This is another style of Kong.
Bone, I think it's called. Food puzzles.
Yeah, Kelsey just talked about food puzzles. So my thing is like Kong wobblers and tricky treat balls. My suggestion also for mental stimulation is why not feed them in it?
Yes, I love feeding my dogs in some form of enrichment. Ozzy very rarely gets a meal that's not enrichment related.
Yeah. So why would we stick it in the bowl and have them inhale it when we could give it to them? It takes them 10 minutes. Yeah. They're not following us around. Yeah. So they're not picking up on our routine.
Yes.
Right? And then all of a sudden we throw another Kong or we throw something else and we're out the door. So,
and I find that's the key to getting the dog to do their enrichment when you're not home too.
Get them started while you're home.
Or teach them that they can do it while you're home. Yeah. And then they're more likely to do it with practice when you're not home.
Because a mistake I find people make is they give the food toy or the interactive toy at the last minute.
Right before they leave, because they don't want the dog to finish it before I get that.
Right.
I sometimes for that I'll give multiple, right? Okay. So then, but I always make sure it doesn't precede me leaving. Otherwise the dog sees that food toy as the cue for me leaving.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what Kelsey is actually saying is don't only give the Kong or Toppler when you're going to leave the house. Sometimes she'll give that when she's staying in the house. Right? So again, you have to watch the associations that you make.
Because dogs are so good at making those.
Yeah. So if every time Kelsey gave a Kong, she's going to leave the house, then the dog might start refusing the Kong. Yeah. Right?
And we see it all the time.
Yeah. We see it all the time. But I think if the dog gets used to eating in some type of wobbler or tricky treat ball and even gets the dinner in it as well, then they're at least busy for 5 or 6 minutes and we're not having, you know, the dog being bored or, like I said, following the owner's routine. They're off banging the thing around getting their meal.
Or I'll have multiple forms of enrichment. So I'll split breakfast up in between 3 separate things. And then I'll leave that. Or like I like to give Sticks empty yogurt containers. That just have a little bit. She loves those, right? Yeah, or empty peanut butter containers.
And they end up all over.
As long as your dog can have those things safely when you're not there. And then, so I have these little plans. So even when I go to town, I can pack my little bags for I'm pretty organized like that for my dogs.
She usually travels with like 3 bags full of
so I pack my dogs their little things for each day. So if I'm out of town and they're at home, the dog walker, whoever's coming to get them, can just give them those things. And then they're comfortable being low, and they know the routine generally when they have them.
Yeah, and a lot of times Kelsey's talking about freezer.
Yes.
Why not freeze it? Makes it twice as hard.
Yes, takes them twice as long.
Twice as long, twice as hard. Yeah. Why would we just stick it in there, have them lick it out literally in 1 minute? Yeah. So, and a lot of people don't think about it. But Kelsey got me on the kick of the whole topples and stuff. So I always have, like, if they've chewed one set, I have another set in the freezer. Yes. So I'm constantly rotating. I have something for when, I have something for when I need it. So again, we're talking about different ways to keep them busy, mentally stimulated. So they need something in the morning.
Yes, and
that's what we're agreeing with.
More specifically, I think, with the destructive type dogs.
Yes.
Not that it won't help with the isolation distress. However, there's more that you need to do with the isolation distress.
Yeah. Yeah, isolation distress is we're dealing a little bit more with emotion.
Yeah. There's more of a training component to
right.
leaving them alone.
But the distraction, we're also dealing a little bit with, we don't want them to be chewing on our chairs and ruining the drywall. So
I don't want my dog to be anxious. Like, it makes me terribly sad.
Yeah. So again, it depends on the dog, whether we look at a crate or whether we look at, putting gates up or something to that effect. We want to keep them safe because dogs that chew random things, sometimes it's not safe.
Yes. You want to train it. Make sure whatever setup you're getting you trained. So I include feeding them in whatever. So if I'm leaving them in a room, I feed them in that room so that they spend time doing other things in there.
Okay.
If I want to leave them in the crate, I feed them in the crate, even when I'm home.
Right.
Just to get them comfortable. Or even having them sleep in there. Like, my Styx does sleep with me.
Right.
However, I make sure that she spends time in her room or whatever alone when I'm home.
Right.
Just so that she's used to being in that space separately, having positive experiences without me leaving immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. So the other little part of it that I want to mention, and again goes for sort of all three of the things that we're talking about today, is when you come home.
Yes, that's a big one. I feel like that's a big one. You could talk about jumping with that too.
Yeah.
Right? But we'll go into that today.
I think we'll leave the jumping one, which we've done before, because we can literally sit here and do jumping for probably an hour and a half.
When you're leaving and when you come home. So leaving, you don't want to, I'll see you later, goodbye, I'll see you. I'll go back 10 times. Like, you don't want to do that. Downplay your leaving. Make it a chill. Not that you're trying to sneak out, but you're also not making a big deal about it.
Right. Coming home is the same way.
Yeah.
Don't come in high-pitched, oh my God, mom's home, I can't believe I left you so long. And
getting them ramped up, all those feelings coming out. Yeah.
Yeah, because then people don't realize then when they're gone, they're waiting, there's anticipation. You've added anticipation when you come in the door because it's like, da-da-da, right? The other thing is even talking about the destructive part or the anxiety part, or if something is ruined, you cannot punish.
Absolutely. Or if they've gone to the bathroom on the floor.
Yeah.
There's no punishment for that.
No. And what people say to me is when I come in, my dog knows they did something wrong. Mm-hmm. That's what they say to me. And I'm like, because you come in, this is ticked.
Yes. And they know they have a history of having been maybe punished. And that doesn't mean you're hitting them. It could just mean you got a little upset and they were sensitive to it. Yeah. But they know the feelings that come along with doing that and you coming home with that face.
But that's why they cower, is they see your body language as being upset, but they don't apply that emotion to something they did 3 hours ago.
No, they don't work that way.
No, that's what they have to understand. So if you come in and you find something destroyed, clean it up. Yeah. Life goes on.
And I think having that plan too, so taking a breath before you go in the house. So you're, number one, not riling the dog up. Number two, if something is destroyed, you're kind of more in a mental state of, okay, it might be there. Just take a breath. I'm going to let them right outside so they can do their thing, and I'll go clean up the thing. Yeah. Or whatever they've done wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if the other thing, what people don't realize is if they're always coming home upset, they're actually creating anxiety. So they're like, okay, owner goes home. Oh my gosh. Every time they come home, they yell at me.
They're mad at me.
Yeah. They're mad at me. They yell at me.
So not only am I anxious that you're gone, I'm also anxious that you're coming back.
There you go. Yeah. So there's like a double whammy and they don't quite understand that, because I've heard it so many times where they say, my dog knows what they did wrong. And I'm like, they
don't have the moral sense. They don't know morality.
No, they just read you. So
wouldn't it be much easier if they did? But
yeah, well, I think that's where, some of how we deal with dogs and kids, are alike, or dogs and people are alike, but then also some of it is different, and we still have to understand that they're dogs, and a lot of times we have to understand some of our habits aren't great, that then affect the dog, just like some of our habits. I'm going to talk, Kelsey, the baby's not quite here yet, but some of our habits or things that we do affect our children. Definitely do. Kelsey will find that out. But she has the dog component. So I just wanted to revisit this one because Amelia and I were just chit-chatting a little bit, and she's like, I think we already did this. And I said, no, I really just wanted to focus on more of the separation issues and destruction. I didn't want to go to the hardcore separation anxiety, but I did want to define it.
Yes.
again, because I think, again, people misunderstood. But for any of these three, separation anxiety, separation issues, or destruction, ask for help because you need help.
Yes.
Something's being missed.
We need a training plan.
Yeah. If it's happening, something is being missed, and it's not like you're failing.
No.
You just, because some people,
tweaks.
again, some people come to us, okay, people come for consults and they're like, I can't believe I didn't think of that. But that's why we're here, because we're on a different plane of thinking.
Yes. And we're separated from the issues too.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're not, I don't want to say as emotional, but what we can do is take a step back and look at the entire picture.
Yeah.
And again, not necessarily laying blame, but trying to give you suggestions how to make it better.
Exactly.
Because you don't want to come home upset every day. You don't want to be worried about that your dog is so stressed while you're at work, because now you're adding stress to yourself, right? So I think it's important that that we just, find a happy medium.
Yes.
Yeah.
I say that's why I have a dog room too, where my dogs go when I'm not home, because if anything does get destroyed, I'm not going to be as upset.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's the dog room. I can fix it later. It's not my whole house. It's not my couches. It's not whatever. So being comfortable where you left them.
Yeah.
I think a big thing too is understanding that it's not your dog trying to be bad while you're gone. They're having, if it's, isolation distress, they're having an emotional response to you being gone. They are upset. They can't control it. Right. They don't mean to be doing it. So approaching it with some understanding for that. Or even the board dogs, right? You've been gone for 8 hours. They maybe got out for a 15-minute walk if you're both lucky.
Yeah.
And
that's where
fault.
I'm just going to throw in real quick. And we finished the scent one with this, and we're going to do the exact same thing. Sometimes mental stimulation and exercise matters.
Yes.
Breed, size, age, definitely age.
Yeah.
Whether you go from puppy to senior, that changes.
Training history.
What am I missing? Upbringing.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, we are done. So thank you. I'm going to thank Kelsey as well, because I think this will be the sort of last podcast. We'll have her in for a little bit anyway. And please check out our other podcast at the Dog Classroom. Thank you.
Thank you.